see here. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our webinar this evening. I'm going to give a couple minutes for some of our attendees to come from the waiting room. And then we'll get started. All right, awesome. Well, again, thank you everyone for coming to tonight's webinar to learn more about our elementary education bachelor degree. My name is Sarah Kells. I am one of the admission representatives at Kansas State University online. And I'm joined tonight by Dr. Lori Levine, and then as well as Graciela. And they are both from our College of Education Curriculum and Instruction departments.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lori Levine. I am the coordinator of the Elementary Bachelor of Science online program in the College of Education. So we have some introductions. One of my colleagues was going to be here. She's an advisor in the College of Education, and she works to help students with their program of study, but she is not with us tonight. And so I'm going to fill in, and do both roles. So Michelle Martinez will give you her contact information at the end of this, because she is very instrumental in helping students figure out transcripts and transfer credits from other institutions. And then Graciela is joining us tonight. She is the, am I saying it right?
Yes.
Associates?
The Managing Director of Global Education Outreach. And we're so excited to have you here. It is a great night, great information. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Okay. So we're going to talk about the Bachelor of Science online, right? Your dream is to be a teacher. Your heart beating in your chest is the heart of a teacher, right? Mine is too. I started out as a preschool teacher, and then I was a primary grades teacher, and my education just went on. And for 25 years, I have been working with students in the College of Education at K-State to help them realize their dream of getting to the classroom. So this program is for anyone at any point along their journey. So whether you are just starting your very first credit as a college student, this program would work for you. You could do all 4 years online with me, or you could transfer 60 credit hours from another institution or community college and join me in what we call our professional programs. So we are flexible and we can accommodate basically anyone that's coming into the program to teach. So what we offer is kind of an accelerated, what we call real world pathway to allow you to make an impact in the classroom and realize that dream of working with children in grades K through 6. So we allow you to earn a bachelor's degree in elementary education with licensure K6. You can complete all classes online, and you complete your field experiences, or what we usually call student teaching, in an accredited elementary school in your home community. Often students ask, how long will it take for me to complete this degree online? And like I said, it depends what you're coming to us with. If you're coming with transfer credits, it's going to take less time. The minimum would be about 2 years. That would be 4 semesters and maybe a summer term in order to get your 60 credits completed, depending on what you're bringing, or it could take it as long as 4 years. Some of my students are what I say taking a victory lap, and it's taking them 5 years. So it just depends what you're coming with. So if you are transferring some credits from a community college, whether that be in the state of Kansas or an institution outside of the state of Kansas, you can find the transfer equivalency site at this address that you see on your screen. So whether you've applied or not applied, you can go to this website and you can enter in what you have, taken already and gotten credit for, and that will tell you which classes that you have taken would transfer and fit with this particular degree program. So once you do apply to K-State, that's when my colleague Michelle comes into play, and she will go through your transcript with you and work to help you design your program of study based on what you'll need. How is the KSU portion of the curriculum organized? So what we have is what we call a community learning model. So we do sort of like a professional learning community, and that means you're with the same group of students from when you enter the program until you graduate, especially the last 2 years. So you have 4 semesters, and you get to stay with the same people and form kind of a tightly knit community. You make friends even though you're at a distance, which is really nice. And my students form study groups and book studies, and they work together and support each other, which makes you feel great, even though you may be in a very far remote place away from K-State. You have that learning community to help you succeed and to support you through it. How do you complete your field experience? So you're at a distance, you're not coming to campus, right? But you are in a community that has schools. And so you will work in an elementary school of your choice. We let you pick from about 3 different options that would be close to your home community. And then we work with a field experience coordinator to place you in one of those schools. And that is where you work with an experienced mentor teacher as your kind of cooperating teacher supervisor through your field experiences. They get to see you teaching in real time in the classroom. And then we use kind of technology on our end to be able to provide you feedback. So we use cell phones work great. Oh, you can't see it on my screen, but cell phones work great. Tablets or your own computer, anything that can take video. And we have our students record themselves teaching lessons with their students, and they upload those to a secure cloud. We use a program called Go React. And in Go React, we can watch your videos and give you feedback. We can also zoom in using, video technology and watch you in real time. And if you are in a certain proximity to Manhattan, Kansas, within maybe a 2 or 3 hour radius, we can come see you in person, which is exciting. Sometimes we get the chance to do that. So sometimes students ask, hey, I'm from another state. Can I get a teaching license in my state? And the answer is yes, absolutely. So K-State is state, regionally, and nationally accredited. And that means that you have met all the standards for quality teachers and licensure in every one of the 50 states in the United States, which is great. We have reciprocal agreements with most all other states. And so that is easily done. You get your initial license in Kansas, and then that easily transfers. Sometimes you have to take a separate test depending on your state's requirements, but it's very easily done. So what tests are required to get your license? So when you finish your student teaching, you will need to have taken these 2 tests, and this is across the state of Kansas and recognized by most other states. So there's a pedagogy test, which is basically the art and science of teaching and learning. So you would take that test kind of earlier in your K-State career, and then towards the end of your time at K-State while you're student teaching, you would take what we call a content knowledge test. We call it the CKT, or sometimes it's known as the Praxis, and it's a series of 4 subtests that you take. They kind of look like this. So the Praxis CKT, you see that as the 3rd bullet point here, is 4 subtests in English language arts, math, science, and social studies. And you take those courses, of course, while you're student teaching, those methods courses, and they prepare you very well to take these licensure tests. So the fee for the tests could be around $200. So just to give you an idea of the pricing for this. And then we have background check, fingerprinting fee, and then the application fee to get your license. So that gives you sort of an idea of what the fee structure looks like. You see mentioned on this slide, Diane Murphy, and her email is here. And so she is our contact person for questions about licensure and about testing. She's an expert on both of those. So you might be wondering, how is this affordable? How can I make this work with my life? And wow, there is some amazing financial aid and scholarship opportunity across the board. Some are local, some are through the university or global campus, some are state of Kansas, and some are federal or national financial aid or scholarship opportunities. So I would mention that filling out the FAFSA, this one at the bottom, is the first step that we tell every student to do, right? So you would fill out the FAFSA, and that will let you know immediately what kind of federal, national scholarships or loan forgiveness programs you might be eligible for. So what kind of financial aid, and whether it be student loans or scholarships that you qualify for. After that, I highly recommend you looking into the Teacher Service Scholarship. That is a federal grant, and that can award $5,800, so $5,800 toward your time at K-State, which is phenomenal. So if you get some student aid or scholarships here, you get these monies here. There are also some Board of Regents scholarships available to students in the state of Kansas. There's a federal Teach grant. There's loan forgiveness programs as well if you teach in certain regions that are high need or have a high poverty level or are in an urban or very rural area. So there's all kinds of opportunities. And when you put all of these things together, it can add up to quite a bit of savings to help you finance this kind of quality education. So let me move to the next slide. So what happens when you're admitted, right? You go ahead and apply and you get admitted to K-State. So you'll get an official evaluation of any transfer credits that you're bringing, and that would be with Michelle. And you'll meet with Michelle via a Zoom. We'll have a Zoom session with you so that we can review your program of study and discuss your long-term goals, figure out what your time frame is, when you'd like to be done, and get the proper sequence of courses. And then you can be enrolling as soon as this summer if you were to apply right away, or as soon as this fall if that meets your needs. So it can happen pretty quickly here. So once you're admitted and you have the prerequisite credits, you would then be part of our PreProfessional program. Once you finish certain credits, like you have to take an early field experience course and complete some other prerequisites, then you're ready to apply to our professional program. And that would basically be your last 4 semesters at K-State. So that would be the 2-year program that we refer to as the professional program. And that's where student teaching happens. And what that looks like, this is kind of a map showing you, right? So we have fall and spring. That would be your junior year. And then we have fall and spring, what would be your senior year. And those are the courses that you would take. So we have a handout. I think Sarah went ahead and put that into the chat for you. And there's a very detailed handout that's covering all of the information that I'm sharing in this webinar, but just on 2 nice pages, front and back, that you can kind of look at and follow along. So this course sequence would, of course, be on that document. So what happens when you get to the professional program is that you'll have a series of practicums, right? Where you're working in an elementary school with students and you're practicing the methods that you're learning in your courses. So you're preparing English language arts lessons and science and math and social studies lessons under supervision, right? And we're teaching you and helping you learn how to write great lessons and how to do assessment and how to do classroom classroom management and all of those good things. But here's the big thing that sets this program apart from other institutions. We have a 1 year long, right? So it's what we call our year-long student teaching, or what we call apprenticeship. And that is not like any other institution. Most institutions have a semester-long full-time student teaching kind of internship. We give you a year-long apprenticeship, and that is made possible because you do it half days. So you're in the classroom August through about the first week of May, and you follow your local school district's calendar. You're there half days. You get to pick morning or afternoon. That could be 8 to 12, or it could be 12 to 4. You decide what fits best with your schedule. Some of my students will do Monday, Wednesdays, full days, half days, Fridays. What this allows is you to keep your income, right? Usually during student teaching, you can't work unless you just don't sleep. And you have to devote full time to student teaching. So with 2 semesters of student teaching, most of my students are actually working in the same building where they're student teaching. They are either doing substitute teaching in the off hours that they're not student teaching, or they are a paraprofessional or teacher aide in their same building or in their same district. I've had last year, a young lady that worked at a bank in her community, and she was able to keep her full-time benefits, working full-time at the bank by doing afternoons and evenings and weekends, and still doing her student teaching from 8 in the morning till noon. And she was able to support herself and her family and manage all of that while still having her income, which is kind of phenomenal. So I think that makes our program really, really special, and gives, I think, our students the most flexibility to fit this K-State experience, realize their dream, get licensure, get a Bachelor of Science degree, and keep working and supporting their family and taking care of their own needs. So that's kind of exciting. I love that part of it, that I get to see my students like getting to have it all. So one of the other things that I like to mention is that K-State has a full service career center. The folks that work at our career center will work with all colleges and all disciplines in the university, but they particularly are supportive of our education students. So we have virtual interview days, we have career fairs for students where districts come from across the nation virtually to do interviews and meet with our students, because our students are very desirable and highly sought after. So a degree from K-State in elementary education opens a lot of doors. And you may be thinking, I don't need that. And that's great. I know I'm going to stay in my home community, and my school wants me. They want me to complete this degree so that I can get right to work with the kids in my own community. And that's great too, that the Career Center can help you navigate that pathway as well. I'm going to read this to you because it's so perfect. This is a quote from one of my students that graduated last May. I had 28 graduates last May that finished my program. This May, in about a month, I will have, just exactly a month, I will have 32 students graduating, finishing the year-long internship. And next fall, I am slated to have over 50 students that will participate in the online program. So we're growing and growing and growing. But this student wrote, I don't know if you received much feedback about it, but doing this year-long apprenticeship has been the best decision I could have made. I love that we can be with kids every day and have the opportunity to work for the entire school year. I've also been switching each week between coming for the first part of the day and the last part of the day. This way I get to see what the entire day looks like. I've stayed full days a few times and have the opportunity to greet them and say goodbye. I've loved the way my teacher and I set this up because I get the opportunity to see and teach every subject. The K-State course load is much lighter since it is split up, which is very nice. This makes it easier to prioritize my time student teaching with the opportunity for extra free time. Said no student teacher ever. What a money lifesaver this program is too. I highly, highly, highly recommend doing the year-long program for anyone that is curious. They will not regret it. So she did her last 2 years with me after transferring from a community college, and just was so glad that she made the decision to come to K-State. So I would say next steps, Sarah, if folks are ready to apply, if you want to share this information with them, that would be great.
So I am going to put that link for how to apply in the chat. I know I did put a lot of helpful links in there. We are recording this, and we will be sending this recording out to everyone who registered. So, and that usually is in about 7 business days. So that way you can have those helpful links that Dr. Levine shared, as well as everything that I put in the chat as well. Just some important dates coming up in regards to applications. May 1st is the application deadline for those of you wanting to start in the summer 2022 semester. Sorry, my cat's making a little noise. And by that deadline, we would need not only your application, but also your application fee and your official transcripts. August 1st is the deadline for all of those same materials if you're wanting to start with the fall semester. I did put in the link to our scholarships link for the deadline for the summer scholarships has passed already, unfortunately, but the fall scholarships open up on June 15th, I believe. I hope I'm saying that right. Now I'm doubting myself. And so that is a very short, our application for that is very short. So yes, it is, the fall semester is April 15th, sorry, through June 1st. And that is the deadline for the scholarships for online. And just as a thank you for everyone who attended tonight, we are going to offer you an application fee waiver for the summer or fall 2022 semesters to the elementary education program. So on the next slide, I believe it has my email address. So if you are interested in starting, right there online at ksu.edu. Just email me before you apply and let me know what semester you'd like to apply for, and I can put that fee waiver in through our admissions office. So,
and then Sarah, I saw 2 really good questions.
Yes.
That I would love to help answer.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So the one of the questions is, do you guys still have the K-Step Up program? And if so, who can they contact?
Okay, so yes, we have K-Step Up, and K-Step Up is a partnership with Kansas City, Kansas public schools and with liberal public schools. And if you are in one of those 2 regions, we have K-Step Up, and that is basically the Bachelor of Science online, but with extra support from that school district. So you would work in one of those 2 school districts to complete your student teaching and all of your practicums. And you would get dedicated kind of staff there to support you and help guide you through that, along with me at K-State working with you, and they would mentor you right into a teaching position in that district. So if you are interested in that, please send me an email and I will get you in touch with Tani Martinez or Luann Getz. Those are my colleagues with K-Step Up. So if you just will email me, I will get you right into contact with those 2 ladies, and then they can help you kind of answer more questions and help you get started on that pathway.
Great. You talked a little bit about this, Dr. Levine, but do you start the student teaching part during your senior year before you graduate with your degree? And then kind of additional to that, I answered it a little bit, but does substitute teaching or being a para count for any field experience?
Mhm. Yeah, well, probably if you are in the state of Kansas or elsewhere, you've realized that the need to fill vacancies in public schools is great. So yes, K-State is having a lot of flexibility in what we're accepting as practicum hours. Now, for student teaching, you cannot count substitute teaching as part of your hours, but you can count para time. We're very flexible. And so we do it on an individual basis. We don't kind of have a blanket policy for how it works. But yes, you can count time at work towards some of the practicum hours, which is great. And that helps you, and it helps your school because they need you so very much to fill classrooms. So yes to that. And then to the other part of that question, whether you start student teaching your senior year, right? So we have kind of 4 practicums, or really, yeah, 4 practicums. So one we call service learning, and that happens in fall of your junior year, or what we call block A. So we have block A, B, C, and student teaching. So in part 1, which is block A, you can count your paraprofessional work hours towards your service learning, or other things that you're doing already towards those service learning hours, spending time in a learning setting. And then what we have is in spring semester of junior year is called block B. And during that practicum, which is 42 hours, we place you in a school of your choice, and you spend 1 half day per week executing lessons and observing in a classroom. And if you're already working in your school, you can use the classroom where you're working for that practicum, which is very handy. Then you shift to your senior year, and that is what we consider our year-long apprenticeship. And so that senior year, you're spreading all of your coursework over the whole 2 semesters while you're doing half days in the classroom. You can be paid for your time during student teaching. It's sort of complicated. It has to be an agreement with your school district. They have to agree to allow that. They have to take kind of the teacher of record role, but they can pay you. And some of my students are being paid during student teaching with a stipend or a scholarship, and they're teaching full-time with benefits, filling vacant positions in their building under the supervision of other teachers and their principal in their building. So there's all kinds of opportunities and different scenarios. It just really depends on where you are, and then what we can work out for you or with your district. So good questions. Are there any others?
Yes. One from the beginning, I forgot to bring this up first. Do you offer bachelor's in elementary education, special education?
We have an online, it's not a bachelor's degree though. So we do have an online special education program. These are credits that are added onto the bachelor's degree, and they end up becoming a master's degree. And the program is pretty fabulous. And so, like I said, that is all online, and we can give you more information about how that program looks. You would go ahead and start on the Bachelor of Science in elementary, and then you would add on some additional coursework to get you certified, so that you could add that special education endorsement.
Good question.
Yeah.
I learned something there. Another question. Where do you find information on loan forgiveness for working in rural low-income schools? Do either of you happen to know?
Right. So Michelle Martinez, you see her picture here. And I don't know, Sarah, if you can put her email into the chat, that would be awesome.
I put yours in there as well.
Okay, yeah, put either of us in there. So we do have a financial aid office at K-State, and so they would be a good place to start. But really, your advisor, who is Michelle, for the online program, she can guide you in finding that information and linking you up with what regions and what counties in Kansas and elsewhere will count for that loan forgiveness program. There's quite a few across the United States, quite a few regions that would qualify you for that. I think it's basically committing to teach for 3 years in a high need area, and then your loans are forgiven, which is utterly phenomenal. So yeah, contact me or contact Michelle, and we can help you learn more about that.
One more question about the master degree in special education, but a non-licensure. Do we offer something like that?
I honestly can say I don't know the answer to that. I would say that you would take the same courses that you would if you were seeking licensure, just to add on the special education courses. Yeah, that's a question I can't answer, but send me an email with that question and I will most assuredly talk to the folks that we have. I work on what I call the second floor of Bluemont Hall in curriculum and instruction, and our Department of Special Education counseling and leadership is on the third floor, and I will talk to my colleagues upstairs and I will get the answer to that question if you'll just send it to me in an email, please.
And any questions about our graduate programs, we do have some graduate admissions reps with K-State Online, and they might be able to answer that as well as Dr. Levine.
Yeah, if anybody has questions about, I'm assuming that if you signed up for this webinar that you are interested in a bachelor's degree, but if you signed up and you already happen to have a bachelor's degree in another discipline outside of education, and you're interested in elementary or secondary education and you already have a bachelor's degree, we have a program for that called Master of Arts in Teaching. And that is an amazing, get it done in 1 year kind of program and get you licensure that way. So if not yourself or you know somebody that is wanting to pursue that avenue, we have a lot of information we can give you if you email us about that as well.
And I believe they are, I'm looking at our list of upcoming. Yes. So on Tuesday, May 3rd, they are hosting a Master of Arts in Teaching elementary webinar on Tuesday, May 3rd, and then a secondary track on Thursday, May 5th, that you can sign up and learn more if you already have your bachelor's.
Perfect.
They host a lot of those.
Perfect. Well, if there aren't other questions, I would just say thank you so much for joining us tonight and for your interest in K-State. We are the biggest elementary degree program in the state of Kansas. And I like to say we are also the best. We are award winning and we are top ranked nationally for the work that we do. And our online program is phenomenal. You have the same high caliber, amazing faculty teaching your classes online as you would if you were on campus in person. So I hope you'll consider joining us and I hope you'll apply.
Thank you again, everyone. And then thank you to our presenters, Dr. Levine and Graciela. Appreciate you taking the time out of your busy nights to be here. And let us know if you think of any questions after this, please email us. We're happy to help. Have a great evening, everyone.